Hey guys, how's it going? And look at this little combination of weapons I'm using. A lovely cheeky little sticky jumper and a lovely little iron bomber. So we haven't done a map walkthrough for ages, and I had this kind of fun game recently that I recorded, and I thought, you know what, let's chat about this. But in this one, it's going to be an extra special one because I'm going to talk about specifically the use of these two weapons in combination. How viable I think they are, how fun they can be. But yeah, I'll do my normal walkthrough stuff, try and talk about the routes I'm taking and stuff like that. We're on Swiftwater today, such an awesome map, and particularly suited for this little combination. I think in this particular game I was on the other team, but I got switched, which is always a good sign because it means that there's a nice challenge in line for you because you're probably on the underdog's team. You know, if everyone's rage quitting, that is. But yeah, spoiler alert, I think using the sticky jumper and the iron bomber, or you know, your grenade launcher of choice, is a viable option in a public server. In competitive, probably less so, let's be honest. I very much doubt the sticky jumper is viable in competitive TF2 for a couple of reasons, simply because you get buffs from your medics constantly, so you can do those crazy sticky jumps if you need to. And two, the traps are just so massively important. But I'm just a little old pubber having a little bit of fun, and in this particular server, in this particular game, it worked a treat. So let's jump in. Now what I like to do to begin with on this map is jump to the right here, but I got distracted by this cheeky little pyro in the corner. So I wanted to finish him off first. May have noticed that my sticky bomb didn't fling me across the map then, it's because it was just caught on that little ledge. A little bit annoying. But yeah, what I like to do is jump onto this little shed thing, take a look at what we're dealing with. Felt like I had a good opportunity to take those guys out, so I kind of focused them a little bit. Getting a lot of action here, decide to jump off and I meet these lovely two soldiers, which I kind of fluff quite a lot of shots on. But fortunately, they kind of come through this little choke point and I'm able to finish them off quite nicely. So yeah, again, rolling out to the right here. I don't know why, I just love using this flank. I think it's because fewer people use it. You can really look at the defense on the far left of the map. Bit of a clueless sniper there, finish him off quite nicely. It seems like we have control of this first area, so there's a really nice little angle you can use to spam into this little choke point into the sentry nest if they have one. Very often the NG will build on the right here. I think in this case they actually are kind of building all over the place, which is weird. And I get Ubered and I'm not quite ready for it because I'm not loaded up, which is, you know, the worst thing. But I managed to take out, at the very least, a few buildings and then decide to start panning this pyro to death, which didn't go too well for me. But yeah, the sticky jumper is simply awesome for this map just because it's so open. Straight away you can just jump to the front lines really quickly. I have to say, I really enjoy open maps just because you simply can jump around them like crazy. And this one's open pretty much throughout. It gets a little bit choky on the second point and kind of towards the end a little bit as well. But other than that, sticky jumper is really valuable because you can just constantly relocate, constantly get yourself back to health packs. So I'm just spamming in here and we finally start to break through here with the help of my team. And I noticed that I think I take a lot of damage when I poke out of that choke there. So what I do is I do a little sticky jump past the choke, basically land on that spy, so I take him out. And then I've got a different angle. Notice there's a sentry gun, so I'm just going to try and spam that out now. So the iron bomb is a funny one really, because for a long time I felt like it made no difference, but I've decided to do a test for science. I'm going to test it out and see how much damage I do with each weapon. I'm going to try and make it as fair as possible, and I'll make a separate video about that. But it's kind of started to grow on me a little bit, but I still can't tell which weapon I'm putting more damage out with. It's very difficult to tell, and that's why I'm going to do my very scientific experiment. But I do like the fact that these bombs kind of linger around roughly at their feet when you're spamming an area, and it feels like sometimes I'm getting more damage out because of that. Difficult to tell though. The downside, of course, is that it doesn't look quite as awesome as my lovely grenade launcher. Unfortunately, that engineer completely demolishes me and then taunts on my dead body, which is a little bit harsh. A little bit harsh. Anyway, we're coming back in and I jump in and there's a blimmin' bunch of flippin' red team there. What's going on there? So apparently we hadn't pushed quite as far forward as I thought. Come back in here and a pyro ambushes me, and I'll be honest, that normally doesn't go as well as that, but fortunately I get 2 crispy pipes onto him and I'm good to go. So, in this next open area, again, I like to take the high ground and flank to the right hand side of the map. Just pushing that scout back, he's freaking me out a bit there. There's a huge health pack in here, which is really useful to be aware of. And then you can go right round to their spawn. There's a few snipers in there, just pressuring them. At this point, because you can pressure them from this completely different angle, you can tend to collapse onto the enemy and very quickly push through this area. This is where we get to the tricky part of the map, where it gets a little bit more choky than some of the areas we looked at previously. And again here, I like to flank round to the right. It feels like there's a common theme here. I seem to hug the right-hand side of this entire map. I guess it's whatever is the outside lane, if you see what I mean. Like, whatever's the biggest flank, I like to take, because that's often the route the least people are taking. It's the most unexpected route, if you see what I mean. I managed to get in there, do loads of damage, but as I was very close, I was taking a lot of self-damage, and therefore I end up kind of taking myself out there with that last pipe. So at this point of the map, you can go through this little sneaky route here, which really does get underused, I swear. And once you're here, you can just sort of spam down some juicy pills, pressure the entire enemy team. Very cautious of being snuck up on from behind. I'm very cautious of jumping down there as well, because there's so many of them. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity, just sprinkling that damage in. And I think that's that NG again, who's kind of hates my guts, but I managed to take him out that time. Not going to taunt him. I'm above that, yeah? There's two, we've got two medics kind of maybe uber chaining there. I don't really know. Filthy Frank getting a bit salty. Now, I remember now. If you still get accused of spamming, even when you're using the sticky jumper and the iron bomber, I mean, what more can you do? Just use your pan, maybe? I guess that's all there is to it. Anyway, we do finally break through that point, and I just jump forward just to try and put that pressure on really early, to try and prevent them from sort of pushing out of this little tunnel. If we can keep them in there, then we'll have this entire area for free. I didn't really do a great job of it, but I did kind of help push them back. And I noticed as I come down here, there's a little sentry gun in that little nook there, which is going to be a problem later on. And then a pyro came, and that's the end of my life. There's so many short stories I've written in the world of TF2, which end, and then a pyro came. The other great thing about having the sticky jumper is you can do some crazy rollouts, like just double sticky jumps right to the front line, get you involved very quickly. And at this point we seem to be doing really well. I can't remember if we cap it right now, but I tend to not want to go that bottom route. I prefer going this top route. Completely forgot you can't go in that gate, so ignore that. That's me being a noob. I love to flank around this right hand side here. I'm completely scuffing all my shots, but from this angle it's great. They're just completely oblivious. You see, you're just getting loads of damage out, destroying everything, and once I feel like it's safe to kind of touch the cart, I move down to the cart and try and push it that little bit further forward. And then I think I prematurely taunted here. I was like, we got this, I'm going to go and do my drunk walk, and a little bit got demolished. It's fine. But luckily, one of my teammates, a lovely spy, managed to finish the game quite nicely there. And as you can see, not top of the leaderboard, but I was putting out plenty of damage and contributing to the game. So what I wanted to kind of summarise there was that this combination on certain maps can be really viable, and more importantly is so much fun to use. It's just so much fun jumping around the map and trying to get those direct hits. For me, it's one of the funnest things in TF2. Absolutely, it's not suitable for every single situation. For example, if you're on, say, Steel, a very enclosed map, you can't really jump around so much. Maybe you could get away with it there, but there's definitely maps where it's very enclosed, very much less useful. And as I said before, in competitive TF2, it's probably a bit of a write-off. And one final comment about the Iron Bomber, growing on me. I don't know why, but I've started to enjoy it more recently. And I'm going to be doing a video trying to get to the real raw data. Which weapon am I doing more damage with? So we'll see how that goes. Before we finish up today, I wanted to do a few thank yous. As always, I like to gather these up and do them all at once, so apologies if these are a little bit late. But first of all, to Block Shock, who gave me the strange, pithy, professional, mercenary grade, lovely little hat for the medic. Next up is Wham. An extra special thanks to Wham, and he goes by a different name on Twitch. He goes by the name of Retro, so if you see him around, he's awesome. That's because he's given me the unusual Glengarry bonnet with a ridiculously generous, unusual effect, the circling TF2 logo. It is incredibly generous. He also gave me the bearded Bombardier, which is very cool too. And finally to Emerald Dragon, who has given me the Sky Captain, which is a very lovely little jacket for the spy. So thank you all very much, and everyone who's ever given me a gift, I give you my love. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
What's going on, lad?
Apparently, Fishmonger hates me.
That is actually usual for TF2.
I would rate myself an 8 out of 10 at the moment, just because I'm using the Huntsman.